Okay, I am continuing my reading here. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around just a little bit as I move along. Right now, I am still in the Book of Numbers. I will be continuing in chapter 16. I had read the first half of chapter 16 in my previous video, and this will finish out the chapter. Just to set the stage for this chapter, we have 250 rebels led by Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Korah of the tribe of Levi, Dathan and Abiram of the tribe of Reuben. And God has brought them all up. They have all lit a censer of incense, and God is supposed to choose which one is which one is holy, which one should have the high priesthood. And God has just told everybody, or told Moses and Aaron to step aside so we could destroy the entire congregation, because Korah, thinking he's all that, brought the entire congregation up with him to prove that God was going to choose him over Moses. And Moses and Aaron, well, let's step back. Let's read verse 22. And they fell upon their faces and said, O God, the God of the spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin, and wilt thou be wroth with all the congregation? And the Lord spake unto Moses.
Stop.
Sorry, my son is here, and he's playing around in the background. Verse 23. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the congregation, saying, Get you up from about the tabernacle of Korah, and Dathan, and Abiram. And Moses rose up, and went unto Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spake unto the congregation, saying, Depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs, lest ye be consumed in all their sins. So they gat up from the tabernacle of Korah, and Dathan and Abiram, on every side. And Dathan and Abiram came out and stood in the door of their tents, and their wives and their sons and their little children. And Moses said, Hereby ye shall know that the Lord hath sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of mine own mind. If these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then the Lord hath not sent me. But if the Lord make a new thing, and the earth open her mouth and swallow them up with all that appertaineth unto them, and they go down quick into the pit, then ye shall understand that these men have provoked the Lord. So this is a setting here now. Korah came with the congregation, with 250 rebels. They all lit their censers and everything, but Dathan and Abiram still refused to come out. They stayed in their own tents, and they said, no, we're not going to listen to you. We have nothing to do with Moses anymore. So now Moses goes out to their tents, and he says, look, everybody who doesn't want to be associated with them, leave, move, get out of the way. That is important, because their families chose to stay with them, therefore their families chose to partake in the same rebellion. And you remember, their family who left with the rest of the congregation did not choose to take part in that rebellion, and so do not take part in the punishment. But Moses' declaration here, if God did not send me, then they'll die naturally. But if God did send me, we're going to have an earthquake that's going to sink them into the earth. Verse 31. And it came to pass, as he had made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground clave asunder that was under them, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their houses, and all the men that appertained to Korah, and all their goods. They and all that appertained to them went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed upon them, and they perished from among the congregation. And all Israel that were round about them fled at the cry of them, for they said, Lest the earth swallow up us also. And there came out a fire from the Lord, and consumed the 250 men that offered incense. So the three men, this wasn't a regular earthquake. See, this wasn't just a chasm opening up and they fell in. It opened up, they fell in, and then it closed over them. They were being buried in the earth. This was all three of them. Korah, Dathan, and Abiram, the three of them, their families, all got sunk in the earth. The 250 men who were burning their incense. Says fire came out from the Lord. That means from the tabernacle where the Lord is. Fire came out and consumed them. This is how God dealt with the rebels. He just destroyed them. Verse 36. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, that he take up the censers out of the burning, and scatter thou the fire yonder, for they are hallowed. And the censers of these sinners against their own souls, let them make them broad plates, for a covering of the altar. For they offered them before the Lord, therefore they are hallowed, and they shall be a sign unto the children of Israel. And Eleazar the priest took the brazen censers wherewith that they that were burnt had offered, and they were made broad plates for a covering of the altar, to be a memorial unto the children of Israel, that no stranger which is not of the seed of Aaron come near to offer incense before the Lord, that he be not as Korah and as his company, as the Lord said to him by the hand of Moses. See, now that's an interesting one, although I don't understand the covering, broad plates for a covering of the altar. It doesn't clarify what altar. There's like 4 different altars. Well, there's 2 altars, the altar of burnt offering and the altar of incense. So which one is being covered by these broad plates? But I like that. Even though they were rebels, they made their offering, and therefore what they offered was hallowed unto God, even though they were in rebellion when they did it. I like that, because that's saying God, he still accepted that. He accepted their offering, but he rejected their rebellion. There's an interesting dynamic there. But let us continue. Verse 41. But on the morrow all the congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron, saying, Ye have killed the people of the Lord. And it came to pass, when the congregation was gathered against Moses and against Aaron, that they looked toward the tabernacle of the congregation, and behold, the cloud covered it, and the glory of the Lord appeared. And Moses and Aaron came before the tabernacle of the congregation. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Get you up from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. And they fell upon their faces. And Moses said unto Aaron, Take a censer, and put fire therein from off the altar, and put on incense, and go quickly unto the congregation, and make an atonement for them. For there is wrath gone out from the Lord, the plague is begun. And Aaron took as Moses commanded, and ran into the midst of the congregation. And behold, the plague was begun among the people. And he put on incense, and made an atonement for the people. And he stood between the dead and the living, and the plague was stayed. Now they that died in the plague were 14,700. Beside them that died about the matter of Korah. And Aaron returned unto Moses unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the plague was stayed. So after God deals with the rebels, he says, no, you guys, you don't get to do this. The people in general, the whole congregation, rise up in not exactly rebellion, but just in contention with Moses, saying, look, these were men of God. They were princes. These were men that the people looked up to. And they were just annihilated, just destroyed. And the people got upset. They said, no, I think they were actually saying this was from Moses and not from God. And God would not have done this. This was just Moses. And God, again, said, look, these people don't understand me. And I will show them my power. And a plague started to spread among the people. And Moses was the one who said, Aaron, you got to get out there. You got to perform the proper sacrifices, burn the incense. You got to get out there, perform the proper sacrifices, and burn the incense so that the plague will be stayed. And what Aaron did is he didn't just do the sacrifices, he also separated the people. All the people who were unclean. Remember, if you have a plague, you were unclean, the law of leprosy. And so Aaron went out and he made the sacrifices, but he also separated the unclean from the clean, so that those who had contracted the plague were quarantined. And in the end, over 14,000 died of the plague. But because of the actions of Aaron, the plague did not spread throughout the camp. And I think that it's kind of goes back to the clean and unclean, the kind of hygienic laws of leprosy. God put a plague out there almost as a test to see if the congregation would actually follow the commandments that he had given them. And with Aaron, under Aaron's direction, they did, and only some died. So, anyways, that will do it for this one, and I will see you in the next one.